Are you an ally against racism? Or maybe you're a member of Antifa? Well, the video you're just about to watch is of a lady who is breaking down what you should do if you are a white person in Ireland.
Here are 5 reasons why you shouldn't be an ally. 1. Your allyship is performative. Performative allyship essentially is talking the talk but not walking the walk. Imagine, it's like a wolf in sheep's clothing, pretending to care about the social justice issue without doing the necessary work involved.
There's nothing like those liberals that are wolves in sheep's clothing that pretend to care about minorities, but they're just in it for their own gain. Somewhat like the male feminists that pretend to be feminists, but we all know what the real reason is. They're just in there to get some of that feminist moist work.
It's all about appearances without true, genuine action. It's like wearing the t-shirt that says you're an ally, but when it comes to it, you really fall short. 2. Your allyship is all about me and not we.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, if it's all about me and not about we, and not about the good cause of cultural Marxism, then definitely you're definitely not a good ally, regardless if you're a far leftist.
If you're more concerned about how your personal image is and not truly supporting and advocating for communities in the margins, then maybe you are not ready for the allyship journey. Remember, allyship is about
I've got something really shocking to tell this lady here, that about 95% of the people involved in the movement in regards to Ireland, the far left movement that's self-loathing, white liberals, they're only really in it for status and to be seen as doing something, because their lives are absolutely pathetic. So they're sort of using you and others as a springboard to propel themselves into some outer space weirdo faction like Antifa, where they're accepted, but they're never going to be accepted because they're the kids in school that everybody stayed away from.
amplifying voices and decentering yourself and not overshadowing the voices that really matter. That's when we get into saviorism territory. 3.
Oh yeah, definitely don't overshadow the voices that really matter. Like if there's anybody that's white and Irish in Ireland, your voice does not matter. We do not care. It's the only people's voices, the voices that we want to hear from, is the African migrants, the Middle Eastern migrants, and the minorities that are living in Ireland. So if you're those people, your voices matter. And if you're a white Irish man living in Ireland or Irish woman living in Ireland, your voice doesn't matter. And there's a good chance, if you're a liberal, that you're just using minorities to springboard yourself for social status.
You treat people as tokens. You often tokenize individuals from underrepresented backgrounds. Tokenism, in short, is doing something for the clout or the appearances rather than critically engaging with that community where it matters.
Yeah, you mean the teachers? We've got a whole subsection of teachers that consider themselves far leftists, and we'll just call them social justice warriors, that teach children, and they also engage in radical behavior with a radical ideology. And tokenism, well, unfortunately, I don't see anybody different. I look at this lady here, I see her as a lady. I don't care about the color of her skin. I don't care about her ancestors' history unless we're having a deep conversation about history, but I don't think about it every day. For example, I don't think about slavery every day and about how white people enslaved people, because everybody was enslaved at one stage. You know, every race has been enslaved. White people, black people, everybody's been enslaved. So, you know, what you're actually pointing out here is the majority of social justice warriors in Ireland use minorities as tokens. Well, this is my friend, and my friend is of this nature or this person or this skin color. Give me lots of praise because I am a good person that's a self-loathing white liberal that puts minorities above myself. Where I don't do that, I just see you as a person. And if you start talking about wacky shit like this, I'm just like, well, no, I probably don't want to be your friend.
It's like saying, look, I have a diverse friend. 4. You think you've learned enough. Education just isn't about school. And so-called allies often lack the deep understandings of the communities and issues they claim to support. So it's essential.
Well, forgive me for saying this, but I don't care. I honestly don't care. And if there's anybody of a normal thinking process, they shouldn't care either. Just treat people with respect. There you go. That's it said and done. If you meet somebody in the street and say, excuse me, sir, what time is it? Well, actually, I don't want to give you the time because I don't like your skin color. Well, you're probably a racist. But if somebody comes up to you in the street and says, excuse me, sir, what time is it? Or ma'am, what time is it? And you go, oh, well, it's 12:10. Oh, okay. And then you go about your day. That just means that you're a normal person. You don't have to, and then you don't have to swing the other way either, where, excuse me, sir, what, or ma'am, what time is it? Oh, here, take my watch because you're a minority and you've been suppressed all your life and your ancestors have been enslaved. So you must take everything that I have. I mean, this is the world that we're living in. Let's be a good ally here. To be a good ally is to progress. And these people are supposed to be progressive, but they're actually regressing. You know, this is going to pain a lot of people to say this, but I don't care about the history of, well, I do care about the history of Africa. It's interesting, but I don't want that to take up my whole life. There's better things to talk about, like Irish history, because if you're in Ireland, we learn about Irish history. If you're in Africa, you learn about African history. If you're in America, you learn about American history. So, you know, you're sort of bringing things into the scenario here. Let's talk about racism in America and apply that to the same, to the country of Ireland. It just doesn't work. What you're doing is you're just a cultural Marxist that's trying to tear down something that's good and fix something that isn't broken. I don't care about the color of your skin. And I think that actually angers you, the fact that I don't care about the color of your skin. You want me to care. You either want me to be an extreme racist or somebody who is an extreme liberal that only cares about everybody else apart from myself. You know, that's the scenario. It's like the pendulum, up and down, up and down. I don't care about the color of your skin. I don't know why you care about the color of your skin. It's just pigmentation, whatever. Who cares? Yeah, I'm white, you're black. The aliens are purple. Who cares? I really don't care. The only person who's bringing an issue to this here is yourself.
To continuously educate yourself in the historical and systemic inequalities and injustices that exist to the causes that you support. Only then we can challenge these systems and then create a just society.
Like, what system is this lady speaking about here? Like, I've lived in Ireland my whole life. I've worked all across Ireland, from Cork to Dublin to Galway, Donegal, Wexford, all over, everywhere, Portlaoise, everywhere. And I honest to God, I haven't came across one racist. I was even at the nationalist protest, and there was people that were there that were black. There was from all different colors, white and black, that were also Irish nationalists. So I don't think a person would, like, even just say my own city that's close to me, Belfast. You go into Belfast and you walk into a shop. I don't go, well, I'm not going to ask for a vape or whatever, or buy a carton of milk because the person behind the counter is black. Or I don't see an abundance of white people working in these places. What I see here is you creating a problem that doesn't exist and looking for a solution. And that solution is to suppress people of Ireland, to suppress Irish people, mainly white Irish people. Cultural Marxists, you know, turning down something that is good, trying to fix something that doesn't need to be fixed, just because you're a little bit angry about something. And the worrying thing about this is 20 years ago, you would have laughed at this, but now there's actual politicians taking people like this serious. So this is where it is getting worrying. This is where you have to vote the right people in.
5, you are mute when it really matters.
What?
Silence is not golden in the course of allyship. True allyship requires speaking up when the time is right to question and query oppressive systems. Remaining silent and...
Hold on, like, question and query oppressive systems. So, okay, well, let's apply 1968 Irish civil rights movement, where Catholics, Irish people, were being spat on by people who considered themselves British or identified as British, or actual British people who didn't give Irish people jobs, who said, well, you're Catholic, you're Irish, and I don't like you. There was a big mad war. Good Friday Agreement, everything, right? But the Irish people don't really yap about that. And anybody that does yap, we're sort of like, please just shut up. We don't want to hear from you, right? So what oppressive system do people live in Ireland if you're a minority, if you're black? I don't see it. You've got all the same opportunities as everybody else. You've got the same opportunity to rise up through the ladder. You've got the same opportunities. Obviously, yes, if I seen somebody in the street that was being racially abused, I would probably jump in to help that person to say, look, stop racially abusing said individual. But I don't see that. I'm not saying racists don't exist. Racists exist everywhere. But, you know, you go to the most liberal city in the world, say San Francisco, there's going to be racists in that place. Unfortunately, that's just the way life is. There's people in Ireland that hate Irish people. There's racists in Africa. Do you know what I mean? There's racists all across the world, unfortunately. I've got something to tell you if this is new to you. Oppressive systems, there's none in Ireland. So you can stop yapping now and just get on with things.
It's not only silence that's verbally, it's witnessing discrimination and injustices that happen. This perpetuates the very things that we are trying to solve.
Well, that was absolutely wacky. Completely, say about 95%, actually 100% of it was completely untrue. This lady here obviously has got a severe issue with just people in general. I would not hire this lady, not because of her skin color, but because of the fact that she's incredibly woke, and it would be counterproductive to the company or whatever setting she's working in. I could imagine her really annoying everybody around her, regardless of their skin color. And that's something we need to get over here. You know, I've been looking on Twitter. There's some girl called Bernie who called out another leftist, Joe Brawley, because he shared something from a profile that she thought was a Nazi profile. And she's like, I'm unfollowing you, Joe. This is the issue that we're living in, right? We're living around these cultural Marxist whack jobs that, you know, they feel like, you know, they're not successful. Well, they might be successful academically, but they're not successful socially. And because of that, and because of that bitterness and hatred, they feel like they have to self-loathe and follow the whack job narrative like this. And then you've got people like this that have identified the weakness in Irish society, that have went, you know what, I'm a minority, I can gain really high social status by telling lies. Like, there's an oppressive system that's not allowing minorities to flourish. Sorry. And it's, you know, that just doesn't exist. Everybody in Ireland has the same ability to rise up through the ranks and become whoever they want to be. If you decide to be a drug addict and a loser, well, there you go. You've become a drug addict and a loser, regardless of your skin color. If you decide to work really, really hard and become a CEO of a multi-million pound euro company, you've also got that ability, and your skin color isn't holding you back. So most of what this lady said here is totally lies, and she's just talking to the whack job minority in Ireland that thinks that Ireland's racist and oppressive when it isn't. They're just looking for social status. And as I say, I have to revert back to the male feminist. You know, anytime you meet a male feminist, know this, that they're not actually feminists. They're just looking for pussy, because their social status amongst women is quite low. They're not probably as masculine. You know, they can't fight. Their ego isn't there. They can't do the normal things that other men do. Not saying that I'm the epitome of masculinity. Gee, I've got my feminine points like every other male, but I'm definitely not a male feminist. But male feminists become male feminists because they can't get women in the normal social setting. So they stand up for the rights of the radicals in the hopes that the radicals give up a bit of their pussy. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is.